Justin. Over there. And that's me live over there. And that's all the lives. I am alive. I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking, Bane Games. Doing pretty good. Hello, Matthew Animation. Hello, Doll W. Hello, OK Gaming. Well, my restream chat window is actually going faster than the built-in live dashboard window. I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good, baby. Let's copy. Get on the old Twitters. So let me copy. Let's see. I don't know. I guess the web page is doing lots of things, DoorW, but whereas this thing is just getting the chat, and I don't mean my overlay is getting it faster. I mean this Twitch, the restream chat thing I have gets it faster. I can read chat from the overlay because it gets both, but because it's only got a few lines at a time, it can run out. Sometimes I have this, so I can sort of see back what people have said as well. Luckily, I can now minimize the overlay, and it still works. New collisions. We're gonna have a look. What keyboard am I using? Wow, I haven't even typed anything. Oh wait, yeah, I did. I typed a tweet a second ago. It's probably more my microphone is up quite loud at the moment. I'll put gain down on that just a little bit. In fact, I'll leave the gain as it is and turn it down on OBS. I think OBS is the problem. I think I've been recording too loud recently. There was some annoying peaky bits of audio in the last video I did, which I just put out. If you've been following along the platform series, new video just went out literally a few minutes before I went live. GMS2 loaded faster since update. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably a coincidence, but it'd be cool if true. So, I couldn't find the... Oh, this is what? Oh, okay, that's the actual... That's the bug change log, right, cool. But we got these release notes, and I feel like this was very quiet in the midst of all of this. Like they did a whole tech blog about like this non-axis aligned bounding box, which is cool, which is very cool. Like this rotated bounding box. Although there was a kind of a caveat I noticed towards the end where it's just like you have two things with different collision masks checking for a collision. Now, if you have a regular bounding box checking for a collision with a rotated one, it says like it'll default to precise checking, which would be kind of rubbish. But that sounds pretty cool. Some virtual keyboard function. I don't do mobile stuff. I don't know. That sounds like it's probably very important for people who do Android stuff as well. But I wouldn't know. But that's exciting to me. Just because my voice is very low. I'll turn your speakers up. I don't know. I mean, I can turn this up a bit, like to that, but recently, like when I've been recording stuff, my audio has been way too loud, so I can move the mic closer. But whatever I'm at now, this is about as loud as I'm gonna get. Unless you just mean it's low in pitch, in which case, yeah, my voice is kind of a bit, I don't know. I'm a little bit of a phlegmy throat or something today. I'm a bit feel I need to clear out a lot. So that might be making me sound a bit funny too. So what was I saying? Yeah, so this is cool. It's probably not as exciting as I'm making it out to be, but it does help solve a bunch of problems that were just you could solve before, but they were a pain in the ass, and you had to do with scripts that were kind of slow. Now I don't know if the built-in functions are actually going to be any fast, or they're just going to be just a quicker way of doing these things. Because I know, like, basically I remember like Mike Daily, like, they essentially telling me to never use like place meeting and stuff like that, even though it's in there, kind of thing. So I know sometimes like functions that they build in a GameMaker can actually be very slow. They just allow you to do things in very easy ways. Any idea of a main reasons? Well, like what, Gaming Zone? I don't know what you mean. Why do you need a better idea for doing that? What's wrong with scripts and cases? Look who's streaming. I'm streaming. So we want to complain about the new version compiler taking too much to even compile an empty project. Ah, well, you know, let's see what happens. 215. Wait, have I even got the update? I downloaded the update. I don't think I've installed it. Check me out. I think I downloaded it. I'm checking it. Hang on. Download. Right. Okay. No, it won't be Inksplat. They've pretty much, I think they've already now officially pretty much said bye-bye to, if not, then very soon. Have officially, like, stopped updating. Man, that seems like forever. Like, they said it was, like, going to be, like, a year. What feels like a week ago. I know it has actually been, like, a year, but dang. What pixel font am I using for that? I don't remember, to be honest with you. Take a quick look in a second. I don't know, I have a lot of different pixel fonts. It might have been one of, what's his name, starts with C, did a really good pack of pixel fonts. There's a guy, he did a really good pack of pixel fonts. I can't remember his name for the life of me all of a sudden, but it might have been him. Hey, Yellow Afterlife. What is the most simple pathfinding script? I mean, I guess the most simple ones are the ones that are built into GameMaker, right? What, that sound? Codus Crux is very likely. I use that for a lot of things. No, what's the dude's name? He does all kinds of game dev stuff. Used to do a lot of GameMaker things as well. I don't know if he still does. Chevy Ray. Yes, nailed it. That's the one. Yeah, he did a pack of cool pixel fonts. So it might have been one of his. Probably wasn't. No, I've spent ages remembering that. What are the requirements to publish a game? Have a game, I guess, is the main requirement. No, I know, I've got to sit for like 6 years while we install this runtime, right? Which GMS2 would add a better particle interface with a particle preview window? I think, don't take my word for it, but I think that is something they want to do, and I think have spoken publicly about maybe wanting to do that at some point in the future. I don't know. But loads of people have made third-party tools for doing that kind of thing. And they're pretty alright. I say they're pretty alright. A lot of them have been kind of clunky, and I've always thought about doing my own, but I don't know. We've kind of got enough of those, and they work well enough. So I'm presuming I haven't. I mean, I looked. The documentation doesn't seem like it's been updated to fit to have those new functions in them. Some people on GeonFX is going. Yeah, I haven't used that a lot actually. I think I got that at one point. I think I was going to do a video on it and then never did. Can I get? No, I can't even get the docs from here. Can I find them all on Genius? Yeah, docs 2. Good old docs 2. Yes, I don't know that they've updated the manual for... Or I might have been looking at the local manual prior to updating or something. That might have been the issue. Collision... yeah, they are in here. They are absolutely in here. I'm a moron. So my problem was I went into GameMaker Studio and I'm just like, the new stuff isn't in there before because I haven't installed the update. That's probably why I'm not seeing the updated info. So a lot of people were complaining about compile times taking for ages on a blank project, but nope. So there's our first thing disproven. I don't know, specific hardware, specific things may be weird, I'm not sure. Might have screwed certain people. But at least for me, the update has made no difference to compile times for a blank project. But following your tutorials from the beginning, would I say that the recent GMS2 update, my whole tile collision segment is obsolete? No, not at all. Tile collision is a very different thing, used for very different reasons. Antivirus getting tipped off the... Yeah, it's probably likely. No, yeah, tile collision is something you used to, well, use it for all kinds of things, but I suppose one of the main use cases, or the use case I put across in my tutorial is, like, you can do way faster collisions with things like backgrounds and stuff that are tile-oriented, because you could use the maths of grids and tiles to make things very easy to work out if you're overlapping something and colliding with it, and therefore it is faster than having loads and loads, and also you don't have the weight of loads of object instances floating throughout the room and that kind of thing. That's not changed at all with this update. This update, what is cool, is I made a melee collision video a long time ago that, let's make a new object. I made a melee collision video a long time ago that was like, I showed you how to create like a system whereby you had a platform character and the platform character pressed a button, swing, does an attack, and basically created an invisible projectile in front of it that could collide with a thing and hit it and knock it back. And that was it's a pretty decent thing, but I think a problem you would run into using that, it's very fixable, but a problem you run into is that because I was just creating this thing and using the collision functions in GameMaker to say, am I colliding with the enemy, you can only do that with one enemy, so you can't hit two things at once with that. Or you kind of can, but you've got to have multiple active frames on that projectile, so you can't just like spawn the projectile for one frame, get all the colliders, and then deal with it kind of thing. You would have to like leave it for a few frames to like hit one, and then hit the next one, then hit the next one kind of thing, and knock them all out. of the collision or something like that. Or write in your own script that like takes in a region and takes in like the region of your hitbox kind of thing, and finds every every collision, every ID in that space, which is slow and a lot of work. Now, I don't know if this update fixes the slow part, because maybe these collision list functions that have been added just do the same thing. They just take a region, I don't know. I don't know if there's some cool, fast way of doing it they've worked out. But it definitely fixes the it's a lot of work part of it. So that is very cool. So I'm just going to make a quick thing just to kind of test this in a way, really. Where I do like... I'll make like some white sprites and give them another frame that's like red. And we'll create like a big... yeah, we'll make it... we'll go like 96, 96. And we'll make this like a transparently red. Nope. And we'll have it so you can just sort of click and create a thing and like sort of instantly check. And we'll go like, I'll call it like, oh, projectile or whatever, even though it's not technically. Should be pretty optimized. I was helping with the initial, I'm so glad they've involved you in that. That makes me feel good. Nothing would make me feel better about the implementation of any new feature in GameMaker Studio than hearing that you were in some way involved in it. Not that I don't think they have very good programmers over there, but that makes me feel good. You can sort by distance. Juju says you can sort by distance. What the? Right, let's read on this. That's like, how does this work? So come on, let's see. Collision circle. Is it just these as well? Do you have like place meeting lists? No. Good. But you do have all of the right. So you have to use these ones. So this doesn't work with, say, like, you can't like place meeting list. Which I wonder why, because it's just like the same thing. Well, oh no, because if you place meeting, you're not even getting IDs back, right? So getting a list of IDs back doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and you literally just, so you just add list at the end, and you literally stick in a list. You know what I'm actually surprised about here is that this wasn't sort of implemented as... It doesn't really make a difference, but I would have guessed they would implement this as like doing collision line and then adding like an optional list argument at the end. No, I don't know, it probably won't. No, that's probably me just not knowing at all how it works, because they're probably completely different from... Yeah, I don't know. Place meeting list should be a thing too. Instance place list. Oh yeah. Obviously, place meeting wouldn't be a thing. Instance place. But yeah, instance place list is a thing. Oh my days. Okay. Collision using the collision mask all of an instance that runs the code for collision. Oh golly. Ordered. Whether the calling list if relevant. Wait. That's not up to date. I think that's make grids like Friendly Cosmonaut? I'm not sure what you mean, but if Friendly Cosmonaut's taught you to do it, you don't need me to teach you how to do it, do you? Known typo. Okay. When you say don't mind it, do you mean order doesn't do anything, or do you just mean that that is wrong? So like if you were to put ordered in there. Yeah, so that is whether this should be ordered by distance or not. Okay. And it's just this one, because it's thinking that's the not me argument, right? Yeah, it's whether to order by distance. That is so cool. I can't, like, by being able to order it by distance just on top of that as well is ridiculous. That's really sweet. It says returns an array of them all. That's what I thought. I just saw, sorry, I got a tweet for someone that says, my guess is you collide with more than one instance, it returns an array of them all. And that's what I thought this was going to be, and I was very excited for that. And then I come into this, and I'm like, it's better than that. It's a DS list! And it's ordered, you can order it! Because of course it would be a DS list, not an array, because, yeah, of course, that's amazing. Hello, Professor Miscellaneous. She explains kind of fast. I mean, some topics that are really common and stuff, I think it's good to have lots of creators covering with tutorials and things, but I think I like to leave, especially the people who don't have like a huge audience or whatever like mine, I prefer to point to their work when they've done good work on a subject and say, hey, go look at this person's stuff, because then they get more support and they can do more videos and they can cover things that I can't in a better way, and we get more and more content, better, quicker, with more variety of people doing it, rather than, you know, rather than me going out there and like just covering things all these other smaller creators have covered kind of thing, you know, because then it's very easy for me if I make a video on a subject to become the definitive source for that thing, just because I have that position of having already got this big search rank and everything with my stuff. And that's not necessarily because my videos are going to be the best, it's because I already have the audience, you know. So if she's done a cool video on a thing, I recommend just go. I mean, yeah, she might not have a teaching style that necessarily suits you, but I would be very hesitant to then go out and just make a video covering something she's covered, you know? I'd rather cover things in a different way or cover a different thing and so on. Anyway. So I'm just gonna add a global left press. Let's create layer. Miss Y. Oh, just even better. Okay. Actually, what I am going to do is then draw sprite. S checkbox 0 miss Y middle center. Cool. Now I'm going to create one of these, and we'll just do it in the creative angle with solid. Yeah. Well, I love it as a DS list because then you can do all kinds of things with the DS list that you return. Let's say you've got it, you can order it by distance already, which is cool. And then say you wanted to then deal with that in the reverse order or something like that, you've got all like the DS list functions all available to you in order to deal with it. I mean, I'm a scrub programmer, right? But for my money, unless I'm doing something really quick, really simple, I just prefer DS lists to arrays like pretty much 100% of the time. Oh, if I was, I probably was Rosie. I tend to, well, I can't remember which one that's from. If it's from like the fight with the dummy or something like that. It's something from Undertale, I'm sure, but it gets really stuck in my head, and I tend to like do that one a lot. Create. So rectangle. In fact, no, that's not even. Why? You don't even need to do that. Instance place. Oh my days! The power. All right. X, Y. Objects that we're looking for is going to be obstacle. So I don't think I finished my explanation earlier with like I was talking about my melee example. I think you got the idea with like you could only hit one thing at a time with it. Now you can just find everything you've hit at once and just deal with them all at once without having to. Well, I mean, as I say, you could do this before, and a lot of the time when I get excited about a thing in an update for GameMaker, yes, you could do it before, but it's a lot more practical and easy now. It's one less thing you've got to build a set of custom scripts for that you carry around from project to project. Oh, okay. So what does it return then? Sorry, I should actually read the manual. What was the difference between place and position again? Position's a coordinate, right? Yeah, coordinate. Whereas this is a hitbox to hitbox. Actually, either an instance ID value or the keyword normal one. So what gets returned? Oh, hang on, wrong function. It's int, the number. Oh, it returns the number of things. Of course. That's awesome. Actually returns it as an actual integer, because I know GameMaker can lie about that sort of thing sometimes, and it's probably a real. But if they've written int there, I'm actually fairly convinced that's probably an actual integer, which is rare. Rare sighting of a real integer. A real integer. You know what I mean. An actual integer in GameMaker. Professional humming conspiracy theorists. You're probably not like, now that you've heard me do that once, you'll notice I hum like that same bit of that Undertale song like all the time. I don't know why. It just really gets in my head. And now I'm gonna be conscious of it now as well. Yeah, I know. Well, the only reason I know that is because I think I remember saying at some point, like, we're talking about things that you can notice about GameMaker, or like hidden truths about GameMaker, and I said something like, everything is actually a real number in GameMaker. There are no true integers, no true booleans, and that kind of thing. And I think it was Juju called me out. It was like, no, actually. And yeah, there are a few things that use integers, just not most of the time. So this is not what you rounded to the nearest integer before the check is performed. So this is not what you acquired, or you've been using a legacy GameMaker product. Oh, I know what they're talking about there. You should floor the coordinates in the check. Yeah, okay. But that's fine here. I don't really care about sub-pixel accuracy right now. So that just returns a number then, so let's and this is in a game, isn't it? So things hit. I'm gonna call it hit count. List call. Do I have to make that DS list beforehand, or is that going to create the DS list for me? I'm going to guess it is. Ordered. We're going to go with true, just in case I care about that later. In fact, let's just so we can see that in action. I'll draw like an X on one of them. You do need to make a list prior, even if it's a global one that you reuse, and clearer maybe. Interesting, okay. God, I'm glad you're here. Right, okay, of course. That's interesting, so you click on that. Does that always work like that? Whatever. Let's go. Just make sure we'll populate. All of Sean's questions could be answered by actually reading the manual. So will work for precise collisions, but only if both the instance and the instances of the object. Only. The function also accepts a special keyword all, in which case all instances found to be in collision will be listed. What does that mean? I don't understand. Function will probably list. That's what will happen anyway, right? The function returns the number of instances found, or 0 if none. What does that mean? Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Rollcard. Oh, the overlay crash again. Yeah, that's like pretty much exactly what happens. I don't know what it is. It just gets some data from Twitch that it doesn't know how to handle. I feel like I've written, like, the way I've written it, it should, if it gets data it's confused by, or data that doesn't fit into the code that that processes it, it should just ignore it. But I don't know. Just every now and again, it gets some response back that just melts it. Something I haven't accounted for. Probably something that looks right, but isn't somewhere along the line. All this if you want literally any object, not some... Oh, for object. Okay, sure. Of course. I feel like I should say like all instances of all objects just to clarify confusion, because it doesn't specify where, you know which part of the function accepts that keyword. Now, given x, y coordinates, we run okay, doke. Okay, so let's just create a DS list every time. Is that a bad thing? I don't think it's a bad thing. Hit list equals DS list creates. So, best way to cycle through the list, I guess just for loop, but I go repeat via the size of it. Oh, actually. Oh, actually, yeah, hit count will have that, won't it? So if I just repeat... and then just do, like, delete the top one, right? I remember how that works, right? People often ask me, like, do you still have to look at the manual? And I'm just like, all the time, buddy. All the goddamn time. Yeah, position 0, cool. Actually, don't do this how I would normally do it. There we go. So I feel like that should now just get them all. I'm going to retweet what Juju said about solving by distance as well, because that's ridiculous. Wrong thing. I haven't actually put O game in here, have I? Classic me. Oh, malformed with statement. Whoopsie. Either way, it's probably for the best. I'm not working on anything in particular Penguin Muffins. I'm trying out a new function, which is... Oh, what have I done wrong? List call not set for reading it. I've not changed one of those things. I changed the name of them. Oh, no I didn't. I just flat out put in the wrong thing in there. I could show hit count somewhere as well. That would be a good idea. Oh, okay, so I got everything. Why did I get everything? I get just the ID of that, right? Oh, wait, this is getting the collision of... No, it isn't O projectile. Why did that hit everything? Are you sure DS list returns anything? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe that's just... maybe I'm thinking of a different thing like DSQ or something like that. Yeah, returns NA. Why doesn't that return? I swear some of the other DS things do that. It's been a while. You can tell I've not actually coded anything new in a while. This last one. Find position, right? Find value even. No, hang on now. Let's just paste that down here. We'll do that either way just so we can keep using position 0. I think it reorders itself, doesn't it? Or does it? Like, can you create holes in the... No, yeah, it does, yeah. Yeah, yeah. That'd have probably been easier, yeah, but I've committed to this now, yellow. Define value. This should work anyway. Oh, so that actually has to go in the listing. There we go. Because then it'll just be getting, I don't know what it got back to do it or anything, right? So that's, yeah, there we go. Okay, but it's thinking they're all the closest, so I've screwed up that mechanism. Doesn't matter so much, but tutorials, you picked up GMS2 and started coding your first game. Cool, glad to hear it. I hear that a lot and it always makes me feel pretty good. Cool, so that works. That's pretty sweet. So you find, I mean, I've placed all these in useless positions to test. That's the only useful test site I've created of this. So let's just add more. Let's turn the grid off so we can just make them all a bit more wild. Friggin' nuts. Donk, donk, donk. It's getting the closest one. Nah, I'm now just thinking of stuff in PokePoke that's gonna make quite a bit easier. And as I said before, like, yes, you could technically accomplish this sort of thing before, but probably not as well or as fast as it does now. I say probably. And also just way more difficult, you know? That is super, super cool. And I'm presuming all the other ones just work in the same way, where they just return to a DS list. Can you order all of them as well? I presume you can. Oh, what? I'm in the wrong place here. I'm sorry, I'll go silent while I'm just thinking of the various many ways this could be used. That's quite cool. The fastest pre 2.1.5 method involved instance deactivation, which wasn't even that fast. Oh, right, I see. So, like, what, deactivating things essentially outside of a region and then getting a list of those things and then... Huh. That's cool. That's really good. That's even more exciting. Like, I was excited just by the fact that it exists full stop as a thing. The fact that it's actually, like, probably faster than every other method is ridiculously cool. What are these? What's a KBV? Oh, virtual. Oh, I think that's new stuff as well. Isn't it? They said something. I don't know. I think they mentioned something to do with that. What else was on the new virtual keyboard functions? Yeah. Anything else new and cool in here actually? Might take it. Oh, might take a look at this thing as well. That is quite cool because that's. Oh, actually, yeah. Holy crap. That's a pain even in like my old asteroids video series. You know, like because when you rotate a thing, unless it's just like a perfectly like constant fixed square collision box, which is fine as well. Like if you rotate a thing that's like a rectangle or something like that, and it like at that angle, like working out the hip, and it works out the hitbox for it like crazy weird stretched if you do image angle or whatever. So my fix to that was always to just use like a fixed square mask instead of relying on the bounding box of the object. But being able to do that is pretty exciting. I think there is some new video stuff to come out of some of these changes. And the option to set a default collision shape when creating new sprites, that's kind of neat. Fix that. Spine agreement is now shown before you can build projects which contain spine. Fair enough. Not sure what the legal nonsense was there. Fair enough. Hey! Wasn't it sort of? Well, it's half fixed anyway, right? So does that mean the whole issue is fixed? That stops the room being lost. But does it mean that it doesn't like it used to like truncate the end of it? I want to try that and see how fixed that is. String. Quite possibly actually toyline assembly. Like I do want to do another probably beginner oriented series after I finish the platformer stuff. Muzzy, I'm just live streaming because it's fun. You know, this isn't. You can be here or you can not be here. You know, I'm not really doing it instead of a video. I did a video this week. Platformer part just went out. Live streaming's kind of a separate thing. Hopefully, GMS2 will get faster updates on supporting GMS1. Maybe Robert B. Maybe. See ya, penguin muffins. Cool, so I mean that shows in there, which is good. I don't think there was ever an issue with it being specifically the instance, right? It was just if you set it as a variable. Let's just reopen that. Because they said, well, one programmer who responded to the bug said, yeah, this can't be fixed with the whole text/n thing. But then immediately, like, the rest of Yo-Yo and, like, Ross and other people were just saying, like, oh, yeah, we've got a fix for that. We think, we're pretty sure we've got that solved. We'll be coming out soon. And then, sure enough, it comes out and it says it's fixed, so... Is that an emoji in the back? Kind of, I guess. It's the, what's it, the awesome face. Sort of, like, face. Pretty good, iColdstone, pretty good. Just checking out new bits and pieces in GMS2 version 2.15. That's a good number. 0.1.5. I like it. Well, my overlay is the fastest. I was just seeing there, like Restream chat gets chat messages faster than the live dashboard and the Twitch dashboard. But my overlay seems to get them even faster. Probably again just because it's like the only thing that it's getting, and it's probably polling quite quickly. I'm just seeing some messages like that one popped up like before anything else did. I hope a better solution for GMS2 server hosting becomes a thing without using other languages. Wouldn't know what to tell you. Okay, so that's loaded fine, it's loaded back in fine. Let's edit that in place. I don't think this was ever an issue. But I'm going to add another one in here. Another couple. Because that used to just break the JSON. And they were like, well, how do we even fix that? I think is what the programmer was thinking at the time. But it seems they did find a way. This is a test string with a library. Cool. Save. Yeah. It used to be like, and you would reopen it and like the info would be lost kind of thing. And that was like it got mildly better from just losing the rooms entirely to just the text being dodgy. Or did it? I think that was like stage 1 of the illness. Stage 1 of the illness is you reloaded the project. And that's what made it so hard to work out as well, is because like, you load it and everything's still fine. You've no reason to assume there's any problems. But if you actually went and looked in the object or the instance, you would see the text had been truncated past the /n. And then when you say that and brought it back in, you would lose the room entirely. New export could be a server export, but no one knows except for you. Project in the same time in GMS2. You can do source control stuff. And it is all like, all the files are kind of separate, so it does sort of work. I think, from what I can tell, Robert B, seems like it's been solved, yeah. So it seems like you can use /n pretty comfortably in your variables window for objects now, so that's really cool. Makes that video I did a bit obsolete where this, well, a chunk of a video I did obsolete where in the platformer series where I'm just like, hey, you might want to fix this thing because we're bug. But obsolete in the best way. It means people don't have to do that kind of stuff anymore. Yeah, safer than at the same time of any other kind, right? How do you even start doing multiplayer in GameMaker like online? Well, you happen to be in the chat with the person who's done a lot of that kind of stuff. Ask Yellow Afterlife, I don't know. But I guess press F1 and go to the networking section and GLHF. Get bits of data, you send the bits of data to another thing, and the other thing gets the data and then handles the data, but it can all be kind of asynchronous because you've got to deal with the time it takes and get data to get from one place to the other. And oh my god, what the hell? That's my summary of netcode. hope that cleared a lot of things up for you. So, fix the saving issue with external tools, locking files as meant. Object event code could appear in the next project. You opened that IDs. Oh, that has happened to me a bunch. I didn't know that it was linked to external tools, which is interesting because I don't really use a whole lot of external tools. I had a period where I was using quite a lot of Light's GM edit, which I eventually gave up because I'm bad at tabbing between two IDs to just do things, even though I love the code editor so much better. But I feel like that's happened to me a bunch. Like this issue. It's happened to me a bunch. Despite not using any external tools? Unless it was because I was working on code in Dropbox, which may have done things to the files and moved them around and stuff like that. I remember Dan Yo-Yo telling me off for using Dropbox, so I've stopped since then, so now all my things are on specific local drives, so that might have been it. But I'm glad to, because that issue happened to me a bunch, and it was terrifying because you could sometimes not realize, and then you do a thing and then it saves over it, and then oh my god, you've lost all your stuff. Fixed events losing code when the object name is changed or the object is duplicated. When a save is already pending, then the object is like, that's probably a very good thing. Another reminder, we do not recommend working with... Yeah, it probably was that. I'm just saying, I wonder if it was the fact that I just used Dropbox for a bunch of things, and then I come down to this note that says, another reminder, just after this, we don't recommend working with your project source saved in Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, etc. folders. Yeah. So, it's probably to do with that. But a part of my head feels like that issue has happened to me post using Dropbox and post using any real external tools on the project. But I don't know. I could fully believe that it was something linked to either one of those things. So it's cool. That's probably fixed the issue I was having. Saving, fix the check for when to warn about I don't know anything about. I read iOS and then my eyes glaze over. Fixed autocomplete window being offset if autocompleting an enum on a long line of code. Fair enough. Keyboard shortcuts. See, a lot of these things I've never run into, but those top ones were a pretty big deal. This was a pretty big update. I know it was kind of delayed for a while. I don't know if they said anything about that. So I know some people were just like, "Oh, DeVries said it was coming. No, it's like 2 months late or whatever." I mean, it's good that it's here. Either way, I don't know. I haven't really been tracking the progress of these updates and stuff recently. Which I should do more often. Fix the converter. Ah, cool. That was annoying me. Like, if I didn't write a description for a thing, like if I didn't write one of these or whatever, which I default to question mark, if I just deleted that line, I figured it was something about putting one in and then getting rid of it or something, but that would change to like create and then just a dash, which would be, I had no idea how to pronounce your name, I'm afraid. Person. who wants me to say their name? Page is a summary of the biggest things. So. Yeah, oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah. Jobo. Absolutely, of course it is. But I would say they're pretty big. That's the point. I'm interested in the bigger things. They are. It's a pretty beefy. Seems like a pretty beefy update with lots and lots of fixes in it, which is very cool. Middle mouse button. That is. This has fixed a lot of things that were actively annoying me, which is very cool. Fix middle mouse button scrolling the workspace at the same time as a code window if you happen to click on a scroll bar. I don't think I've had that issue, but cool. Glad it doesn't happen. Fix change the rename in the dark skin. Who decides that out of interest? Who goes through the entire change list and find? I mean, I work there, and I still don't know how this works. Like, how worked past tense, that is. Like who actually goes through and decides like what goes into here and what's just the big pile of list? Or I suppose like I don't know. Does that come from QA? Fix and existing, and then picking a resource in the same project. Huh, I didn't know that. I mean, I have no idea why you would do that. But, oh, I guess sometimes, well, I guess people might have tried that with the whole, like, room deletion thing or something? I don't know. Fix duplicating a resource whilst on the trial. I like that. So if people tried to sneak their way around it, the IDE would crash. Brutal. Just change the highlight right. Rename. Interesting. I used the dark skin. So what's? Oh yeah, I think. Let's see. I don't think I will have even noticed that, but that's quite cool. Dan is the release notes man. Fair enough. Yeah, of course he is. He's literally sent me that stuff before when I went there. I just didn't remember. Oh, guys, I've all the screens. I'm glad. Yeah, we got the Yo-Yo Massive showing up. Oh, Jojo, Ross. Jojo? I don't know, I call you Jojo. Like a fused, like the love child of Jobo and Juju. Jojo. Events requiring a double click to open. What are you thinking about that? I did. Change opening events to require double clicks. Oh, I like that. Oh yeah, that is better. Actually, like, there's sometimes I think it's just what from a perspective of recording videos. I like that. Just because, like, I would just sometimes be clicking on things and just be like, and so when we use the drawer event, I would click on that, and then it opens this and shunts my screen all the way over here, and I'm just like, oh, okay, time to re-record that. So from that very specific niche perspective of recording video tutorials, I like that a lot. But I think I like that in general. It's a little much more committal way to open a thing. Just in terms of UX and UI design, I think that's an improvement. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, that has annoyed me in the past. It's catching people out. Oh, right, so they're clicking on it and being like, my event doesn't open. Yeah, I can kind of see that, but yeah, that feels like a very temporary issue. Like, very temporary. Hello, Le Sparkman. Saying Le before everything seems to be like your trademark at this point, I've noticed. Who else is yelling at me on Twitter? Oh, it's just people liking things. Okay, cool. Yeah, I did miss that. Did I miss anything? Oh yeah, that was just after that. I find it now shows results when doing add existing. Okay. Next. Right. Thanks. Rectangle selection of rotated items. Stop instances outside the rectangle being selected. Does that mean you're doing like a rotated collision on the thing when you're selecting a thing? Don't know. Not been a big issue for me either way. Fix the loading of room inheritance settings if you reload the project. I've never, you know, I feel like that needs some research doing, a tutorial doing, or something along those lines. I've never used it myself. I presume it can be used for some cool things. I remember seeing the main example in some of the videos we did about it when GMS2 was launching in the first place, because it was a very old feature, but I don't think I've not used it at all. I'm curious to just think more about it and more about what kind of cool uses that could have. Yeah, it's one of those things like Racer sometimes, I think, that can annoy you passively without really thinking consciously about it. So it's cool that that's fixed. Fix the crash with copy and paste. Because it's just one of these UX things, isn't it? Copy and pasting multiple select object across multiple layers. I feel like I have run into that crash before. Fixed issue which causes rooms to reopen at massively offset coordinates. I'm certain I've run into that, actually. I don't think I've ever checked the coordinates I've been at, but the number of times I've like opened a room or just opened a room tab, I think. I don't even know if I was reopening it specifically. And somehow my camera is just grey and it's just it seems off the grid and I can't tell if the room's turned invisible or if my camera is miles out of nowhere. And I can sometimes recover it if I just like mouse wheel back for like ages and zoom right out and I'll see it, but half of the time I just can't find it. I just have to close and reopen it to find it again. Oh, it might be a separate thing though because of this note, but I don't know. Change room width and height fields so they can no longer be set to 0, as this just causes D3D errors during builds. I didn't know that you could set them to 0 actually. Oh, Phil Eds, get spell checker on the go. Especially if Dan's responsible. I know he hates typos. Get him on that Phil Eds nonsense. Go kick his ass. Fix delete old runtimes to now delete everything other than the currently used runtime and the runtime the ID is shipped with. Interesting. I didn't even know that was an option. Does it? Oh, I suppose they take up space, don't they? Should probably do that at some point. Search and replace. Fix the check instance creation code for instances on sublayers. Instance creation code. Oh, okay. So search and replacing the whole right, okay. Oh yeah, that could have been a bit of a pain. Fix replace to now replace the text in comments as well. Okay, I didn't know it didn't do that. Fix the preview and range windows to use the font's style value. Okay, right. So fix only getting white noise when playing high quality OGG. That has happened to me before. Fix sounds under a second long, not playing completely in preview unless you turn on looping. Cool. There were a few little weird issues like that in the sound editor, so I'm glad they're getting looked at as well. What this has made me aware of as well is the number of things I've run into and not reported that I probably should have. Luckily, it seems they've got, they've got QA and they've got other people reporting things better than me. But I swear I can't be the only one as well. Like, because I'm reading all this and I'm just like, yeah, I've run into that, yeah, I've run into that, yeah, I've run into that. And it is hard because these things just bounce off you. You don't have a lot of time to be writing a report on every little thing you run into. But it does always make me feel bad when I read these notes that have fixed all these cool things and I'm just like, oh yeah, I ran into that, and I'd not report. I'd maybe reported one of them as an issue. But hey, at least they're getting them. They are getting them. The engine should be licensed with royalty shares like the Unreal Engine. I don't know exactly, but yeah, that thing is. I mean, I'm not an expert on this kind of thing, but I mean, there are loads of really cool big GameMaker games and stuff out there. But when you consider the position that Unreal is in compared to a company like Yo-Yo, like how, like Unreal, in a way, they don't even need their toolkit to. They don't need. They can afford to run that model, right? They've got all these huge ass studios with ridiculous budgets using their engine and stuff, You're not seeing Ubisoft Montreal coming out with a GameMaker project. I would love to see that. That would be so cool. Like a huge AAA studio. dig into build a game with GameMaker. I don't think it's as unrealistic. Like, it sounds mad, but I don't know. I think that's the real future. like the Rayman, like they built that, like, well, Ubisoft wouldn't do it because they always build their own bespoke engines for things, but no, imagine if that Rayman Origins game or whatever is like built in GameMaker. Maybe that'll be a thing someday. When you're done with the platform tutorial series, could you make a side-scroller tutorial series like Geometry Dash styled games? Geometry Dash? I don't know what's Geometry Dash. I know what Geometry Wars is. Because when you say side scroll, I'm just thinking, well, it's just platformer, right? That's what we just did. Oh, like infinite runnery type thing. Like I could, but I like to make stuff about stuff I like, so it's fun for me. It's just not my kind of thing, but I could do something like that sort of thing someday, but I mean, you could laugh at this because I did platformers stuff a lot, but I don't like to do... I want to do too much stuff that's just on really oversaturated specific genres. At least platformers have like a wide berth of like a wide variety of very, very, very different games and different experiences and different stuff that can be created within the space of being a platformer. These kind of like infinite runners, like you just go on, avoid things, get score, and so on. Maybe it's level based or whatever. I don't know. They're all a bit kind of the same. You know, I mean, like, they're not, but they also just are. And, like, do we need more? I don't know, do we need more of that? Do we? I don't know. It's worth, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's worth knowing, being able to show people how to do that stuff. It's a good context in which to do stuff, but I don't know, something about it makes me not want to do it. That is a huge question, Sean Smith. I don't think I have a legitimate answer to that. I like all kinds of games. Change log for the list of public issues for this version, which is going to be like a zillion, right? Known issues, blah, 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 blah. So that's awesome. Cool. I'm probably going to take some time by myself to look into this non-access align bounding box rather than trying to do that live. But I really like this whole, not the text test stuff, but the collision stuff. Like, this is super cool. Like, this took like probably it took, at the time I actually spent concentrating on it, like a few minutes to write a thing that just got all the collisions, returned the closest one. When it's checking order list, closest collision actually, is it checking, like, where is it checking to? Is it checking to the origin point of the object? I guess it must be. Like, that's what it would make sense as there. Yeah, we can, like, move that around. And, like, I know for a fact, like, doing this prior to this version would have taken a very, very long time. Which is cool. I might just do a tutorial on this that I've written here and just a basic way to use this collision stuff at some point. climbing platforms and multiple objects on top. Does it? Yeah. If you say so. I don't know. Depends how you're doing it. But yeah, that's very exciting, cool. So that was kind of the main point of this stream, was for me to just take a look at that. But I might come back in a minute and, I don't know, I might just stream some non-GameMaker stuff for a bit. I might play some games. Or I might work on my turtle. Look at my turtle. I painted this in Photoshop. I'm not a very good artist. But, you know, I vaguely know how to use Photoshop. So I've had some fun painting my... or digitally painting my D&D character, which is currently like a 3rd level Turtle Paladin, because I'm a massive nerd. So I might do some of that. We might play some games or something, but... which is what I was initially going to do, actually. I was going to just do a chill-out stream for the day, but then I saw this update, and I'm like, whoa, let's go take a look at that, and take a look at this new stuff. And this new stuff has been very cool. So I will bring down the stream. I was going to do a BRB, but I will actually bring down the stream, so we've got this, and then I can actually put this footage up as well, because I think this footage and looking at this new stuff might be kind of interesting. But then I might just do a chill-out stream for, you know, let less people, or people who just want to ask some questions and things like that, while I just do some of the stuff, and while I just hang out for a bit, because I feel like today I just want to kind of chill. Got my video out for the week. Well, it's kind of last week's video, so I'm kind of behind, but I don't care. It's out. I need a little bit of a break, so I'm gonna chill out. I might do some GameMaker work. I might do some work on Poke, but probably not likely. I don't feel in a massive coding mindset at the moment. So how long it took me just to set this stuff up. So that's what I'm going to do. So thanks for stopping by while we took a look at this new update stuff. I might do some more actual proper videos on this kind of thing in the future, and looking at some of these changes in a bit more detail and explaining how to use these new collision functions, which I think are for me are the most exciting part of the update. There's a tech blog on Yo-Yo's site as well about the rotated collision box thing at the moment. I feel like you have to get all the way to the end of it before it's really telling you what that does. But it's there, and you can go check that out. And until then, I'll see you guys later. So I'm going to bring this down now, and I'll be back in a bit if you guys want to chill out. I could do a piano outro, but I'd have to clear a lot of stuff off piano. I might do that to welcome you all back instead. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.